speakers for this meeting is Mike Oberst from the Rivers Casino, Kyle Lux from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Calvin Jackson from the Pittsburgh Power. Let's start off with some background information from each of you. A little about yourself, where you're from, what you studied, where you studied at, and what types of degrees you guys have.
Like you said, my name is Calvin Jackson. I graduated from SRU University Sport Management with an undergrad degree. Because my whole background is similar to yours, try to get as much experience as you can while you're in college. And then when you get out, venture to the real world, try to find a job. I, just like you, did practicums, internships, volunteer hours, and so forth. After I graduated, I couldn't find a job in sport, so I actually went to real estate for about 3 months. It was just a temp job. I was still actively looking for sport management jobs, just none, appeared. It was an open tryout for the Pittsburgh Power. It's the arena football team, the same league as Kurt Warner came from. Went there. The first person I spoke with, I was looking around for people in polos. I was like, oh, there's one guy, kind of old, but he may know something about the Pittsburgh Power. He was facing the field, so I was walking behind him. Excuse me, is there anyone I can speak with? He turned around, it was Lynn Swan, apparently. I was like, great, that's a great start. But my whole pitch was, hey, I'm looking to try out, not to play for the team, but to try out to work for the team, basically. Volunteered for about 2 months before I was part-time and then full-time as a group ticket representative. Worked that for the inaugural season, and then now I'm the director of ticketing. For our first season, we used Turnstiles Ticketing, which is a ticketing firm in New Jersey. Their whole game plan is just sell tickets for various sports teams, whether it's NBA, NFL, AFL teams. Now we're working to bring our ticketing operation in-house, which is my job, and that's why I'm here.
All right, my name is Kyle Lux. I'm with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Currently from Pittsburgh. You guys all hear me?
A little louder, Kyle.
A little louder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
First off, I just want to thank you guys for having me here to speak with you. It's a true honor and a privilege to come back to a school I graduated from to speak to the class. But a little bit about myself. Like I said, I'm from the Pittsburgh area. Went to Cal U for my undergrad. Graduated there in 2006. After that degree, I did an internship at the 84 Lumber Classic for that summer, where I was a volunteer coordinator intern. I worked strictly as a volunteer coordinator, so I did a lot with the volunteer chairs and helping out. I thought that would be like my first real job out of sports, but about 2 months into the internship, they actually canceled the golf tournament. So I was left with the decision to, find another job, or I decided to go back to school. So that's when I ultimately became a slippery rock. I was a GA at Slippery Rock in the NASM business office. I'm not sure if you guys still have that or not. But I worked there as a GA throughout my graduate degree. And when it came time to find an internship for the master's degree, I ended up at a golf tournament in West Virginia called the Dive Golf Club. It was actually the Nationwide Tour Players Cup. So I actually was fortunate enough to get on board with them as an assistant tournament manager, where I worked for 6 months at that golf tournament. But like the same luck I had with the 84 Lumber, they actually had canceled that tournament the same year I was there. I mean, they weren't going to renew it and continue with it. So sort of left with the decision, if I wanted to stay in the golf industry, because at that time it was kind of volatile. The economy was pretty bad, and a lot of golf tournaments were, either going under or, reformatting their staffing, so there wasn't a lot of jobs out there. So I sort of was going from place to place until summer of '09, when the Penguins had actually a full-time position available. Now, I interned for the Penguins back in '06 before I got my undergrad degree. So I was familiar with the organization, and I kept in touch with them throughout the whole time, hoping that something like this would come available. So I applied for the position. It was the position currently in the premium seating representative job. It was pretty much like a 5 to 6 month interview process. I went through 3 interviews and ultimately got the job in like November of that year. And what I currently do now with the team is I handle all the premium accounts, which would entail any Club C holder, any suite level holder, and any loge box holder, which is like a semi-private box area in the building, if any of you guys have been to the Consulting Center recently. So I do a lot with the premium clients, help them out as much as I can. Also, I do hockey events as well as non-hockey events. So any of the concerts, the circus was just in town. I had to get tickets for our clients for that because they have, right of first refusal for certain events. So that's my bio in a nutshell.
Hello, I'm Mike Oberst. I'm from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I currently live in Pittsburgh. I did my undergrad at IUP, the enemy, of course, right? And I did sports management there. So I did sport management there for 4 years at IUP. Graduated from there and came here for graduate school. Didn't want to go right into a job. I wanted to go and get my master's, and thought it was a great idea. And I'm really glad I came here for my education for my master's in sports management. At IUP, I did a work study job with the football team as a football equipment manager, and I loved it. I mean, it's not like doing laundry and stuff like that, but being around the football team is what I really wanted to do. I was at the practices, I traveled with the team, and was on the sidelines for all the games. And right then and there, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be in sports. And then, like, it's weird. You know, I compare IUP to Slippery Rock, and whenever I went there, the program was kind of just starting, and they really didn't grill it into me as much as they do here about doing your internships and your practica and networking and finding people. So listen to your professors. Don't kind of like do what I did at IUP and kind of like slack off a little, because I admit I kind of did, you know. And I had a contact at the Steelers at the time. It was my cousin who did stuff with the scoreboard control room and video stuff with Steelers TV. And he was like, you know, I can get you an interview for the Steelers for an internship in marketing. And I was like, oh, great. I didn't apply to anything else. I was like, this is all I'm going to get. I'm going to get the Steelers job. My cousin's going to get me the job, the internship. I didn't get it. So I was like, stuck. I ended up getting an internship from IUP with the Johnstown Riverhawks. They're no longer in existence, but it was a minor league arena football team where I did game day operations, which was really cool. Then I came here, did my graduate studies again, and had another internship opportunity with the Steelers and a couple other teams, but it didn't fall through. So I ended up going back home and doing an internship with the Johnstown Chiefs, who are no longer in existence. They're it's a small town, so it's a ECHL. It's a step under the AHL, where I did like marketing and game day operations. And then it was funny too, because a little before that, I think it was right when I was starting to do that internship, Dr. Crow emailed me and said, there's an internship open up with the Baltimore Ravens. I think you should apply. And I was like, Ravens? Come on, like I bleed black and gold. Like, why would I go to Baltimore? And I was like, you know, I'll apply. So I applied and got an email for. They just wanted to do like a little background check and ask me questions. Got through that first stage, and then they wanted to do a phone interview with me. Did a phone interview, and then they had me go down to Baltimore for a third interview. And I got the internship, thanks to that man back there, Dr. Crow. And it was a great experience, and you can't have allegiances in this business. Like, I love Pittsburgh, I love the Penguins, the Steelers, Power, but you know, if the job's going to take you to Philly or Baltimore or West Virginia, you know, go. It's important to get that experience. With the Ravens, I did stadium operations. I was an intern there. My office is right there at the stadium. It was really cool. I had to pinch myself the first time I was driving in there to work. I was like, I'm actually working at M&T Bank Stadium, but it was really cool. As an intern, you're gonna have a lot of crappy jobs. Does anybody know how many seats are at M&T Bank Stadium? Any guesses? Somebody say a guess.
71,000.
71,008 seats. You know who had to check each seat for a cup holder? Me. But that was part of the job, because if you go to an arena or a stadium and you have a beer or a soda and you're like, where's my cup holder? And it's not there. You know, it's somebody's job. But that was me. That was part of our responsibilities. There was another intern with me, so it wasn't just me. But we also had to go through the stadium and make sure that the seating bowl is clean of peanuts and popcorn and all that, because when the next event comes, like, it has to be pristine. So that was a really big responsibility, because we were like liaisons between the Ravens and the stadium and the air marking and cleaning contractors. So it was a lot of busy work, but it was a lot of fun. And then after that, like these two guys touched on before, the economy was bad. And it was May of '09 when I ended my internship there, and I didn't have a job, and I was unemployed that whole summer. I was constantly applying for jobs, whether it was in Johnstown or Pittsburgh or wherever, and then the casino opened up down in Pittsburgh, and I was like, why not? They're going to have jobs there, obviously. So I applied, and I got a job as a Players Club representative there, where I handle all the accounts. You can go and get a membership card, and we send you all that fun stuff in the mail to get you to come back to the casino. And then I got promoted twice there at the casino, and now I currently am a bus marketing coordinator. I coordinate all the bus trips that come in and help out with group sales around Pittsburgh. We go to events and conferences and shows to promote the casino and hand out promotional items and all that. What else here? Like I said, you just make sure you network with people. As I say, keep in contact with your professors here, and you know, when you do your internships, you know, stay in contact with everyone down there. I still keep in contact with the guys in the Ravens. I was sending them text messages this past week and all that because of the game, but unfortunately the Steelers lost. So, but that's pretty much it. All I have. So thank you for having me. It's good coming back.
I know some of you touched on your job title and your job duties. Can you go more in depth on your job duties, and also incorporate how your previous internships and practica have helped you succeed at your job?
Cool. So we have a really small office at the Power. I am the only person who has any type of sport experience whatsoever. You know, and I'm only 2 years out, so that's not saying much. In the front office is the owner/GM, president, and the administrative assistant. They work half-time with a hotel development company and half-time with the Power. Then full-time is myself, the director of football operations, and the COO. That is all that's in the front office of the Pittsburgh Power. So I really came in the right place, right time, because there was a huge need, not only of someone who knows sport, you know, knows that it's going to be way more than 40 hours every week, knows he has to be patient, but came in the right time. There was a lot of things we could do. My practicums and internships was very diverse, actually. My internship I did with Greg Rivera at the Art. I also was with Bill Richter at the SRU Athletic Development Funding. Of course, you have to sell people tickets. It was a direct fit, a direct correlation. I also had campus recreation, working with kids, and a couple volunteer hours here and there. Not one of those internships and not one of those practicums did not help me get this job. And furthermore, all of those practicums, all those internships, all those volunteer hours helped me when it comes to my direct skills needed to succeed as the director of ticketing. Since we have a small office, we do way more than sell tickets. We have a dance team. Tomorrow I'm going to be the judge of the preliminary tryouts for the dance team.
I'm coming to work with you.
That's just one of the things I have to do. Last week I was at the Heart Walk, just helping the interns coordinate their things for everyone. Because we're the only our second-year organization, so it's all about the escalator concept. If people don't know about us, they can't buy tickets. If people never been to a game, they're less likely to buy season tickets. So unfortunately, we are at the very, very bottom of the escalator concept when it comes to awareness. So we have to literally start from the ground up. Whenever I was implementing different projects, different things for the season, I approached the CEO, the president and such. I was like, hey, we really have to work on the escalator concept. We really have to have a CRM in process. Their response was, what is the CRM? What is the escalator concept? They literally had no clue what it was. It's funny to us because it was just drilled in our heads. But to them, they don't need to know. They was business. The CEO had like a environment degree. It's weird. But that's to show you that although we are sport management majors, our major is really being dominated by people who have outside degrees. Where I'm hiring our account executives, I'm not even looking for sport management anymore, to be honest with you. I'm looking for internships, practicums, volunteer hours. So that's what's needed. Piece of paper. Obviously, sport management, we know everything we need to do. But, people in Cal U, do they know what to do? IUP, Westminster. There's a lot of sport management programs where it's really less of quality. I don't have the time to research what's a good quality sport management program, what's a bad quality sport management program. So I just look at internship, volunteer hours, and so forth.
Try to forget about that. But like I said earlier, I'm in the premium seating department for the Penguins. So what that means, a lot of people say, well, that's cool. What is that? No. A lot of people don't understand what premium seating is. So it's anything that deals with the club seats, the suite level, or there's loge boxes like I touched upon earlier. There's only 3 people in my department that handle those accounts. So going from Civic Arena to the Consolidated Center, we doubled our premium inventory just based on the suites now going completely around the entire rink, or the entire building, I should say, rather. So just imagine doubling all those accounts and doubling all that revenue just for the premium department. So now we're sort of a pretty big entity in the ticketing department. I know that the Penguins are sold out, and they have so many season ticket holders, and there's a waiting list of like 8,000 people. But a lot of people don't think about the premium seats as well. The suites and the club seats are always full too. From that aspect, my job is a little bit different than Calvin's. Obviously, the Penguins are established. They won the cup in 2009. So our department basically sees it as we're more so as a servicing aspect. All of those contracts for those suites and loge boxes were signed a year before they finished Consolidated Center. So since then, sales pretty much took care of themselves when we win. But it's the servicing aspect that now we need to maintain those accounts and to ensure that when their contracts are up, that they do re-sign with us. So that pretty much entails a lot of what I do, day to day. So it's either ticketing, getting them tickets to whatever they need, for the different events in the building, or it be making sure their suite is properly cared for, and there's no dents on the walls or marks on the floor and stuff like that. So as far as internships and previous sports experience, I look back on it as each of those, I wouldn't say failures, but each of those experiences built on top of one another. If it wasn't for the internship with the Penguins back when I was doing my undergrad, I feel that I wouldn't have, landed the full-time job that I'm in now. So I've sort of come full circle. But each of those ways each of those golf tournaments along the way, where they weren't renewed or they ended their term with the PGA or the Nationwide Tour, it was a setback as far as career-wise, not career-wise, but emotionally. We just sort of have to, keep, pushing on and apply for that next position. Because anymore, I mean, one internship isn't going to get you a full-time job. You have to do multiple internships, multiple sports experiences on top of your degree. It's that competitive anymore. So.
Kyle, why don't you mention that those 2 internships were with 2 alums as well, Chase and...
Oh, yeah. They were. Chase McLean is now the Milan Classic Tournament Director down in Canonsburg. He is a former SRU alum. And then Monty Ortel is the Assistant Tournament Manager down at the Greenbrier Classic in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. He actually got me, I guess Chase got me the job at the Nationwide Tour. I made a network connection through him when I actually, me and him were both interns at the 84 Lumber Classic. And it was just by chance that Monty was there. He was the operations director at that time of that golf tournament. So, yeah, I shouldn't forget about the networking along the way. That's also crucial in, in getting jobs in sports.
Yeah, so like I said, I coordinate all the bus trips at Rivers Casino, and so on a daily basis I'm interacting with guests more than you can imagine. So I look back on my internships and previous experience, and it's all about customer service. Even though the Ravens internship was stadium related, where I didn't have much guest interaction, I did help with the guest services side of stuff, and I was walking around the stadium to make sure everything was okay. And then I did a part-time job when I was still at Rivers Casino with the Pittsburgh Pirates in customer service, and also now, I forgot to mention this earlier, I'm with the Penguins part-time on game nights, helping out with customer service as well. And probably without not knowing him, I might have not gotten this position with the Penguins. So like you said, it's all about networking. And so what I do now is like I coordinate a bus trip, so a lot of people would call me, say, hey, I want to come to Rivers Casino and book a bus. So I would put them in a reservation system, and then whenever you would come to the casino that day, I'd get on your bus and greet you and hand out your coupons and tell you all what's going on that day at the casino, whether it's promotions or if they have any questions a lot. And I deal with a lot of seniors, so you got to have patience. And just not the casino, you got to have patience in general in the work world, because it is tough out there. So having this job, a lot of people ask me the same question. I just told them what they needed to know on the bus, and I had to bite my tongue because, like, I just told you, right? But you have to be very nice with these people. So you get nice with everybody in general. So, and I do a lot of stuff with the marketing too, with the casino, with promotional wise as well. So, but like I said, probably I wouldn't have gotten to this position without my experience with customer service.
All right, and lastly, before we open up to questions by the major, what lesson have you learned while at SRU that has proved to be most beneficial to you now? And then just give some advice to the major.
I'm glad I'm going first, because this is the easiest answer. Networking was my biggest lesson learned. As those two guys touched on, you wouldn't be at the position they're at without networking. Every conference you go to, make sure you get a business card, make sure you follow up. And this is coming from a person who is awful at following up with people, like completely awful. Then make sure you follow up with people, make sure you build those connections, build those relationships. Furthermore, make sure you don't burn any bridges. Just hired an account executive about a month ago. One of his experience was for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I was writing down his resume. As soon as I saw the Columbus Blue Jackets, I didn't look anymore. I just sent out his resume and called the director of ticket there. I was like, hey, tell me about this guy. If he would have burned that bridge, he would have not got the job. Luckily he did a great job there, so we burned him on. But networking is everything. Different conferences, different networking sessions which you go to. It was just a past networking session this summer called the Sales Combine. It was at PNC Park. It was literally $500 to go to. I was like, wow, this is a lot of money. I wouldn't pay that much money if I was an undergrad myself. But luckily, I went there as a speaker, as a coach, so I didn't have to pay. Probably the only reason I went there. But literally every single person who attended the combine got a job offer, at least one job offer. So $500 is well worth it for that guaranteed job. One person that was there, she goes to Robert Morris. It was I think it was 16 organizations there. All 16 offered her a job. It was incredible. And that's coming from the Yankees, the Hawks, the Power, of course. Several teams, the Pirates. So networking is everything. Can't stress that enough.
Networking is key. I guess the one thing I took away from Slippery Rock, I was only here for a short time. I did the graduate program that is no longer here. But I would say what I took away from this is work ethic. This program, the master's program, pushed me and challenged me more than any other, class or, coursework that I did as an undergrad at Cal U, and that was for 4 years. So that's the one thing I took away from the work ethic. Just being pushed to, to do, more than you probably thought you were capable of. I guess the two things I would like to, as far as advice to you guys, I would say to stay focused. If your heart's truly in the sports industry, if you want to work there, stay focused. You're going to have setbacks. Things aren't going to always go the way you thought they would. And also, that relies on my second point, to be adaptable. Be willing to do anything and everything. If you do get a position, if you get an internship, be willing to go that extra mile. Because eventually, in the end, it will pay off.
Well, obviously networking, these two said, but also you want to, what I got out of this was it really made me more organized and prepared to go to your job on a daily basis, because I really never studied as hard as I did here than I did at Slippery Rock. So with all the tests and the internships and all that stuff that you have to do, those guys in the back do that for a reason, to prepare you for a job later in life. So I know sometimes you go home and you're upset that you just had a bad class or a test and all that, but really listen to your teachers here, okay? One thing that my advice to you is, I love sports, and I know I'm not really in the sport industry full-time. I am part-time. I am in the entertainment business with the casino, but all my jobs that I've done part-time, internships with sports, has been rewarding, and I really enjoyed all that hard work. And just 2 weeks ago, St. Louis Cardinals won the World Series. One of my friends who was with me in customer service with the Pirates is now the media relations person for the Cardinals. And to be happy for him, to see all his Facebook photos in the locker room with the trophy and all that, it's like, that's what I want, someday. So while you're not actually playing for the team, you're working for the team, and it can be satisfactory in that way. So who knows, maybe we'll have a cup later this year and we'll have an AFL championship next summer, okay? That's all.
Any questions?
Do you guys see yourself staying in the same city for the next 3 years, or are you guys open to moving? I know it's a job where you kind of move around a lot, so I'm just wondering how you felt about that.
I'm always trying to move up, whether that's in Pittsburgh or moving to, who knows where. I really don't care, as long as I continue to advance my career. That's all that matters. Of course, I want to make sure the organization, succeeds also. But I don't care where I have to move to. I'll move. One thing I didn't say also that I just remember. Sorry, not to go off the question, but when you're working with different agencies too, there's gonna be things that you learn. Like from here, is obviously the top of the line great thing, it's a challenge. Like for example, Dr. Higgs is gonna love this. Last month, we write a bi-weekly news article now. So it was an interview with our dance director, Janelle Johnson. And one of the questions that the Pittsburgh Power asked was something about how do you feel that the girls will do, something like that. I told them, hey, if they're over 18, they are women. And I literally had a half an hour conversation about whether they should be called women or girls. So I knew I was right, obviously. It was another conversation about negligence, and someone questioned if I knew negligence. And I was just like, oh no, really? So, you know, 6th grade guns, you learn some great stuff there. So I just remember that.
I guess that's an interesting question to ask. I actually tried. I tried so hard to move away from Pittsburgh. I did multiple internships. I did an internship in Texas, actually, Houston, to be exact. I worked at the Bahamas on golf tournaments. In West Virginia, I've tried to give myself I tried to move and, you know, like Calvin said, just go for the job. And every time that happened, I found myself coming back to Pittsburgh. So it's kind of a unique question. So I was born here, I was raised here, and now that I'm with the Penguins now, I'd like to stay with the organization and move up. I see great potential with that. So kind of my take on that.
Me, I love Pittsburgh, but I'm always willing to move. I have a job, I ain't gonna lie, at the Rivers Casino, but I still look daily for jobs in sports because that's where I ultimately want to be. So yeah, I am willing to move anywhere really to get my dream job and work my way up.
Calvin, since the Power is a fairly new franchise and a new product to market, what kind of difficulties do you find either in sales or promotions in promoting football to an already football strong market?
That's a great question. It was amazing when talking to the average, everyday person who lives in Pittsburgh. When they hear Power, see our logo, they automatically assume that we are the Passion. I did not know of that many people known of the Passion until I started this job. It seems like everyone knows about the Passion. So that's our number one goal, is to affiliate ourselves with male football. Then there have been so many professional teams who failed in Pittsburgh also. So you have to make sure everyone knows that we are a legit team. You know, we signed a 6-year lease with the Consolidated Energy Center, so we'll be here for at least 6 years. We're owned by great owners, one of them being Lynn Swan. So that's another uphold better, telling people, hey, it's indoor football, it's not outdoor like Steelers. Where this is the top of the line, you know, indoor football. The NFL is the top outdoor football team. We are the top indoor football team. That's the hardest thing. Luckily, our season starts from March until August. So that voids that gap that the Steelers leave. So luckily, we don't have to worry about people deciding whether they want to go to the Steelers or Power game. All people have to decide whether they want to go to the Steelers or Pirate game, which we lost that battle embarrassingly. We got killed. But basically, this is a football-rich environment, football-rich town, so it really helps us that everyone loves football. You know, whenever we go to different events, our opening line is, hey, are you a football fan? If you live in Pittsburgh, of course you'd be a football fan. And then that could open up our page of how great the Power is. So it really helps us.
Kyle, how has the current economy maybe affected recruiting students?
Good question. We haven't really seen that much of a drastic effect in the department. Like I said, all of our contracts were signed the year before the building was actually finished. And those clients and businesses are tied to the contracts for at least 7 to 10 years with the 5% escalator fee. From their standpoint, I guess their businesses are doing good and they're able to fulfill those contract obligations. So we don't see that much of a effect. I'm actually curious to see when Sydney does come back, the way that building just blows out the tickets. It's going to happen. So we're pretty fortunate to not be. I mean, I guess right now we're in a good position. Even though the economy is doing bad, there are still people out there that are still paying money to go to see the Penguins.
And then finally, Mike, have you seen any decline due to the economy and trips that may have come in to the casino, or has it been pretty steady since the casino is fairly new?
Good question. It's been pretty steady. Casinos are weird. It all fluctuates on the season, to be honest. Especially in my department right now, you know, the weather's going to get bad. People are not going to want to leave their homes. So my bus business is going to drastically go down probably until the end of February, March. Will start to go up. So the summer months obviously are high peak. But as a casino, it's casino-wide. We've steadily have gone up since we opened. I think we were second in the state in gaming revenue to Parks Casino. Parks Casino is out near Philadelphia, North Philly, and we're never going to beat them. They're in a good section. It's a bigger casino, but for us to be the second leading casino in gaming revenue is a big accomplishment for us.
Are there any other questions? All right, let's all give Calvin, Kyle, and Mike a round of applause.
Okay, let's just recap the important information here real quick. Just a reminder that the apparel sales, the flyer will be distributed via email and then also in your classrooms. You have to get that back to us by November 28th. So when you go home for Thanksgiving break, talk to your parents, and I think you'll like some of the stuff we have on there.
Also, the two meetings that are coming up that are important, the practical meeting again on November 10th in West Gym 222, and the internship meeting on November 22nd, also in West Gym 222. Come to both meetings prepared once you get the information sent to you from the professors. And everyone here, since we won't see you, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Bring back some leftovers for the rest of the semester. And we get through finals week.
Good luck to everybody taking their internship this spring.